All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive in. Today, we're going deep into Brazilian cinema.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah. Specifically, this film, I'm Still Here.
Okay.
Now, what we're really trying to figure out here is can it actually shake things up in Brazilian politics?
That's a big question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a story about this woman, Eunice Paiva, searching for her husband.
Yeah.
And he disappeared, like vanished, during Brazil's military dictatorship.
Right.
So, we're looking at film reviews, political analysis. We've even got some legal opinions in the mix.
Okay, so kind of a 360-degree view.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've seen this before, right? Like movies making waves, impacting real life. Think Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, powerful stuff.
Really brought the AIDS crisis into the spotlight. Or Schindler's List changed how we see the Holocaust.
Absolutely.
And, you can't forget Dances with Wolves changed how we thought about Native Americans.
Challenge the narrative, for sure.
And it seems like I'm Still Here might be doing the same thing.
Yeah. So, in the movie, it follows Eunice Paiva, and she's trying to find her husband, Rubens, who disappeared back in '71.
Right in the middle of the dictatorship.
Right, and what I think makes this movie so powerful is it's not just dates and names, It's about this woman's love for her husband.
Yeah, that relentless search for the truth.
Right, and it seems to have really hit home with audiences, especially younger Brazilians.
Oh, for sure. For a lot of them, the dictatorship, it's like ancient history.
Yeah, it's a textbook thing.
Exactly. But this movie, it makes it real,
The personal.
Yeah. And it's not just critics loving it. This movie's a box office smash.
Like, really big.
It's actually beaten out some Hollywood blockbusters in Brazil.
Wow.
That's how much the story is resonating.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, but now tie this in for me. How does this connect to Bolsonaro's upcoming trial?
Yeah. So he's accused of being involved in that coup attempt, remember?
Right.
So it's not that the film is going to sway the court or anything, but it's the whole atmosphere it creates,
The context.
Exactly. The dictatorship, it's back in everyone's minds because of the movie.
Okay.
And that could lead to people really wanting to see accountability.
Interesting. And this whole amnesty law thing, that plays into this, right?
Oh, absolutely. So back in '79, this law, it basically gave immunity to anyone involved in the dictatorship's crimes.
Both sides.
Both sides, yeah. And that's been controversial ever since.
Oh, yeah.
But the film, it's reignited the debate. Should it be repealed, reinterpreted? People are talking about it again.
So it's not just about looking back. It's about what Brazil does now with that past. And, it's interesting. All this happening in Brazil, it kind of echoes what we saw with January 6th there.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm Still Here. It speaks to this global worry about democracy,
Yeah, like it can happen anywhere.
Exactly. It's like a wake-up call. What happens when people in power just ignore the rules?
And the film, it seems to be pushing people to, do something.
Engage.
Yeah, to not just watch history repeat itself.
Right. Be vigilant, protect those institutions, all that.
Okay, so we're talking big picture stuff. But has this film had any, actual real-world effects?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Rubens Paiva, the husband, remember?
Yeah.
His death certificate, it initially didn't say anything about the state being involved in his death.
Oh, wow.
But after the film, they changed it.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. So they're acknowledging their role now.
They are.
That's huge. And what about the case itself?
They actually reopened it after all these years.
That's incredible. All because of a film.
It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah.
A single story leading to that.
But not everyone thinks that's a good thing. Right? There was that one defense attorney in the Bolsonaro case.
Oh, yeah, he was arguing against the film's influence.
He thinks it's unfair.
He's saying, look, the case was dead for years. Then this big Oscar-nominated movie about the dictatorship drops, and boom, suddenly there's movement.
So he's basically saying Brazilian institutions only react when they're in the spotlight.
That's one way to look at it.
And that's such a bad thing. I mean, isn't that kind of what art does?
It makes us pay attention.
Exactly. It shines a light on things we might otherwise ignore.
Exactly. And that, I think, is at the heart of what we're looking at here.
That art can actually make a difference.
Yeah, it can be a powerful force for change, for truth, for justice.
It's pretty amazing to think about. So, I'm Still Here. It's not just a movie.
It sparked a much bigger conversation.
About accountability, remembering the past, and how stories shape how we understand the world. It's a reminder that art, it can be more than just entertainment.
It can be a real driver of change.
Yeah. But that defense attorney's argument, it's sticking with me. What if he's right? What if this kind of spotlight, is what it takes to get things moving. It's kind of unsettling, but also hopeful in a way, isn't it?
It is. It really makes you think about how powerful stories are, how they can grab our attention and make us want to act.
And it's not just the facts, it's the emotions.
Absolutely.
We connect with Eunice Paiva's struggle. We feel her pain.
Her determination. And that can really drive change.
It's like the movie is saying, hey, this isn't just history. This is about real people who were hurt.
It makes it much harder to ignore.
And especially in Brazil, they've got this history with the dictatorship, right?
Yeah, for years it was like they were trying to forget it ever happened.
With films like I'm Still Here, they force them to confront it.
To deal with it and maybe start to heal.
It's amazing how art can do that, open up these conversations about the toughest bits of history.
It shows how powerful storytelling is, how it connects with us on an emotional level, and I'm Still Here does that really well, showing us that the fight for justice, it's a long and difficult road.
Yeah, Eunice Paiva searched for answers for decades.
Decades. And she never gave up, and it led to real change.
It's really inspiring, showing that even when it seems impossible, one person can make a difference. And her story, it's bigger than just this one case.
Right.
It's a reminder that we all have a duty to speak out against injustice, to hold people in power accountable.
And that's where art can be so powerful.
Yeah, it starts conversations, exposes the truth, motivates people to act. I mean, who would have thought a film could get a death certificate changed or a cold case reopened?
It's pretty incredible, but this isn't just happening in Brazil, is it?
You're right. This film, it speaks to everyone, especially now when democracy feels fragile everywhere you look.
Oh yeah, we're seeing this rise of authoritarianism, far-right ideologies all over the world.
It's scary.
It is, and I'm Still Here. It reminds us of what's at stake. What happens when we let go of those democratic principles? It shows the real human cost of tyranny, how important it is to protect those institutions. And it does it in a way that anyone, anywhere can understand.
So that we all want freedom and justice.
Exactly. We're all in this together. And art can be a powerful weapon in that fight.
So zooming out, looking at the big picture, what does all this tell us about the role of art in society?
I think it shows us that art is more than just entertainment. It can hold up a mirror to our experiences, spark change, inspire us, and fight against injustice.
Makes you realize a film isn't something you just watch and forget.
It can change how you see the world.
And even make you want to take action.
Right. And that's what's so fascinating about this case. We're seeing the real impact of art. It's not just a theory, it's affecting the world in real ways.
It proves that stories matter. They can change how we understand ourselves and everything around us.
And maybe even push us to create a better future.
It's like I'm Still Here acted as this historical detective, right? Digging up the past, exposing secrets, and demanding someone be held responsible. It really makes you think, how many other stories are out there just waiting to be told? Stories that could totally change how we see things.
That's the power of art, right? It shines a light on those forgotten bits of history, gives a voice to the people who are silenced, and in this case, with I'm Still Here, it shows us that the fight for justice, it can be a really long and complicated road.
Eunice Paiva, searching for decades, never giving up.
It shows the strength of the human spirit, that resilience.
It really does. Her story shows that even when it seems impossible, one person can make a difference. It gives you hope. It makes you think, okay, maybe we can fight these huge obstacles.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that we all have a responsibility, right, to speak out against injustice, to hold those in power accountable. We can't just sit back and watch. We have to be involved in making the world a better place.
And that's where art comes in, right? It can be that spark, igniting change in a way that nothing else can. I mean, think about it. I'm Still Here led to a death certificate being changed, a cold case being reopened. Pretty amazing to think a film could do that.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if this is what it takes, this kind of attention, this public awareness sparked by art, to push for justice and accountability? It's a bit of a strange thought, isn't it?
It is unsettling, but it also shows how powerful stories are. They grab our attention, they make us want to do something. We connect with those stories on a much deeper level than just facts and figures.
Exactly. And when a story like this one, I'm Still Here, connects to those bigger social and political issues, it can really change how we see and interact with those issues.
It's like the film is drawing you in with this incredibly personal and emotional story, and then it subtly connects it to those bigger ideas about justice, accountability, the fragility of democracy. It challenges you to confront some uncomfortable truths, to think about your role in making things better.
And it does it all with the sense of hope. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, even just one voice can make a difference. Eunice Paiva's story is proof of that.
It really is. Okay, so let's broaden our view a bit. This film's themes, they seem to resonate beyond Brazil, right? Especially now when democracy feels a bit shaky all over the world.
You're absolutely right. We're seeing this rise of authoritarianism, these far-right ideologies gaining traction globally. It's pretty concerning. And in that context, I'm Still Here is a powerful reminder of what's at stake. It shows us what happens when democratic principles erode, the human cost of tyranny, the dangers of unchecked power, and it does it in a way that transcends cultural and geographical boundaries. It speaks to this universal desire for freedom, for justice.
It's a message that feels especially important for younger generations who maybe haven't experienced these struggles firsthand. The film acts as this bridge between the past and the present, helping them understand the historical context for what's happening today. And it empowers them to be active, engaged citizens.
Exactly. It encourages them to learn from the past, to find inspiration in the people who fought for freedom and justice before them, and to be vigilant in protecting those democratic values for future generations.
Which brings us back to that central question, right? Can a film really influence a nation's political direction?
Based on I'm Still Here and what we've seen in Brazil, it seems like it can. The film has sparked this national dialogue, forcing them to confront their past and refocus on those democratic values. It's proof that art can be a powerful force for change, shifting public opinion, shaping political discussions, even inspiring real action towards achieving justice.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are the big takeaways here? What can we learn from I'm Still Here and its impact on Brazil?
I think there are three main things to remember. First, it shows us how the past continues to shape the present. The wounds of Brazil's dictatorship, they're still there, and the film has brought those wounds to the surface, forcing the nation to confront its painful history and begin to heal.
It's like the film is saying, we can't just ignore this anymore. We have to acknowledge the past, learn from it, and work towards healing.
Exactly. Second, I'm Still Here shows us that art can be a catalyst for social and political change. It's not just entertainment, it's a movement, a force for truth and accountability. It's proof that a single story can have a ripple effect, impacting laws, institutions, and individual lives. It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in building a better world, whether it's through art, activism, or simply engaging in meaningful conversations about the things that matter.
And lastly,
I'm Still Here reminds us that the fight for democracy and human rights, it's a constant battle. We have to be vigilant in protecting those values, both in our own communities and around the world. The film's message goes beyond borders and cultures, reminding us that we're all connected in this fight for a more just and equitable world, and that we should never take our freedoms for granted.
it's a powerful message, one that gives us hope and reminds us that even in the face of adversity, the pursuit of justice can prevail.
And that art can be a powerful tool in that pursuit.
It's amazing, isn't it? How this personal story, I'm Still Here, it's like it uncovered this national trauma that was buried for so long.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder how many other stories like this are out there, waiting to be told. Stories that could spark these conversations, lead to action.
Right. It really shows you how powerful these individual stories can be.
Right.
How they connect with this larger shared experience.
Definitely. And, these personal stories, they can be the key to really understanding those big historical events, how they impact us even today. And I'm Still Here has definitely done that for Brazil.
It's prompted this national reflection, a sort of reckoning with the past, and a renewed focus on democratic values.
It has. And all while reminding us that the fight for justice, it's rarely simple. It's a long, winding road, like Eunice Paiva's story.
Decades, right? Searching for answers about her husband's disappearance.
Decades. It really shows you that perseverance, that refusal to be silenced.
It's incredibly inspiring, and her story really hammers home that point, that even when you're up against these massive forces, one person can make a difference.
It's a powerful message. And it reminds us we all have a responsibility to speak up against injustice, to hold those in power accountable. We can't just sit back and watch. We have to get involved, try to make things better.
And that's where art can have such a huge impact, right? It can give a voice to those who've been silenced, challenge the way things are, and inspire people to take action in a way that other approaches just can't.
I agree.
It's amazing to think I'm Still Here actually led to Rubens Paiva's death certificate being revised. And they even reopened the investigation into his death. Who would have thought a film could lead to such tangible changes in the pursuit of justice?
It's a real testament to the power of storytelling, how it can connect with people on such a deep, emotional level and really move them to action. I'm Still Here has reignited this national conversation about Brazil's past, but it's also had these real-world consequences. It shows you that art can be a catalyst for change, that it can really make a difference.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into I'm Still Here and how it's impacted Brazil, what are the key takeaways? What can we learn from this whole story about the power of art, the importance of remembering the past, and the fight for justice?
Well, there are a few really important points I think we should keep in mind. First, it shows how the past continues to shape the present. The wounds of Brazil's dictatorship might not be as visible, but they're still there. And this film brought those wounds back to the surface, forcing the nation to face its history and start to heal.
Yeah, it's like the film is saying, we can't just pretend this didn't happen. We have to acknowledge the past, learn from it, and work towards healing those wounds.
Exactly. And second, I'm Still Here shows just how powerful art can be as a force for social and political change. This wasn't just a movie for entertainment, it sparked a movement demanding truth and accountability. It's proof that art can lead to real action, making people think differently, changing laws and institutions, even changing individual lives.
It's pretty incredible how one film could create this ripple effect, impacting not just individuals, but institutions, and even shaping the course of history.
It really is. It shows us that we all have a part to play in creating a better world, whether it's through art, activism, or just engaging in thoughtful conversations about the things that matter.
And the last takeaway.
The last one, and this is important, is that the fight for democracy and human rights, it's a constant struggle. It's happening all over the world. And we have to stay vigilant, protect those values in our own communities and globally. I'm Still Here is a powerful reminder of that. Its message goes beyond Brazil, beyond cultures. It reminds us that we're all connected in this fight for a fairer, more just world, and that we should never take our freedoms for granted.
So, can one film really change a nation's political future? Well, based on what we've seen with I'm Still Here in Brazil, it seems like the answer is yes. It definitely can. The film forced a national reckoning with the past, reignited a conversation about justice and accountability, and showed the power of individual voices to challenge injustice. It's a powerful reminder that art can be more than just entertainment. It can be a force for change, a catalyst for truth, and a source of hope for a better future. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this question. What other stories are out there waiting to be told? Stories with the power to reshape how we understand the world, to inspire us to create a more just and equitable future. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never underestimate the power of a single story to make a difference.